Welcome to another episode of the DVO Show, and I have my brother joining me, Dale, today.
I'm also DVO.
We're sipping on some nog with a little bit of crown in here, so it's
Festivus.
That's pretty good. I mean, it's a noon time, but you know what? When you're self-employed, you can do whatever you want.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
And also in front of us, we're snacking on some fruitcake. So this is homemade fruitcake from Schmidt's Pastry Cottage in South Jordan. And on our other podcast, the Buco Boys, we've been talking about it. And we said, you know what, let's go get some. And it's
so good, it'll make you schmidt your pants.
So on this episode, if you're watching the YouTube, I'm wearing my Santa hat because we're only a few days away from Christmas. I love Christmas time. It's hands down my favorite holiday.
One of the best. Up there with Halloween.
There's 2 birthdays I celebrate in December. Me and Jesus. So, thanks, baby Jesus. So, on this episode, I kind of want to make it a little bit Christmas themed. I thought it'd be kind of fun, break it up a little bit on my pod. And where I got this idea from was that a lot of family that we have is actually going to the Philippines for Christmas this year. So, since they inspired this topic, I want to give shout-outs to the Soriano family, Tama Cruz family, and Villa Flores family, who all went down to the PI, which is short for the Philippine Islands, over the past week for Christmas. And why I want to talk about this is, it'll be fun to have my brother on. We can talk about some Filipino Christmas traditions, and also our first trip together to the Philippines during Christmas time. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to share that. So the best way I can describe a Filipino Christmas is I was reading this on a plane one time. And you know the song, I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this one, I was dreaming of a brown Christmas because there's so much food and it's all cooked and fried, so it's brown. I'm like, perfect. So I thought it'd be fun because we love food.
Yeah, we do.
And we love Filipino food.
Yes, we do.
And we love Christmas time.
Yes,
so
we do.
I thought this will be fun. This will be a fun little twist. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. So let's talk about it a little bit. What are some basic Filipino traditions for Christmas time that you can remember?
Well, they have to hang the star.
So it's called a parol.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically a star shaped with like kind of tail frills hanging.
Right.
Gosh, dude,
It almost looks like a piñata.
It does look like a piñata. Good description of it. Yeah, because it's almost like paper mache like.
Yeah.
And they always hang it kind of in the windows. And it basically represents the wise men following the star to the birth of Jesus.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep on sipping some of this nog here.
Isn't it so good?
Mm-hmm.
I mixed it perfectly.
It is good. It is good. So yeah, that's basically one of the traditions there. Decorative. They don't do Christmas trees because they don't have pine trees.
No.
They're an island, and there's no pine trees out there. They have palm trees and coconut buco trees.
And they don't have not everybody has like electrical outside the house, so no one
Good
really
point.
hangs lights.
Yeah. A lot of people don't have electricity outside. A lot of them don't have water. So, so give you an idea, third world country.
And then what else do they do? They do in the plaza. They have like throughout from like when does it start? Probably like mid-November goes on till New Year's. They have this thing in the plaza, which is like the little basketball court in the middle of every little neighborhood.
Yeah, every little province has a basketball court.
They have little gambling games that anyone can play.
Oh yeah,
they have little gambling games. They have street food, and just like party all night.
Let's talk about some of the street food.
Oh, the best street food. Quail eggs on a stick. Everything's skewered.
Yeah, everything's skewered. I mean, they're tiny. Like little quail eggs are on a stick. They're
Fish
kind
balls.
of barbecued and steamed.
No, they're just boiled, and then they take the
eggs are. I mean, I'm talking all the food.
Oh,
but yeah,
the foods.
They're fried,
Barbecued.
they're boiled, they're barbecued. The quail eggs are tiny. Those are steamed or boiled.
Or you can get them fried, deep fried.
Banana Q, I love that. Right, so basically it's a banana that kind of flatten it a little bit, put it on a skewer, and then barbecue it. So good. Obviously, my favorite is Turon.
Yeah,
this
but that's
is the
not
same
on the street.
Sometimes they have it on the street food, but it's one of my favorite treats to have. It's basically banana, or preferably plantain, from the Asian cultures because they're a little sweeter, and they roll it in the wrapper of an egg roll. So it's basically a banana egg roll, basically. But it's called turon. And the traditional way is put a little strip of jackfruit on top, and you roll it, put a little brown sugar in there, put a little on top, fry it. I mean, you flash fry it for only a couple minutes, and it's done. So good. So good. What are some other favorite ones? Balut.
I was just going to say balut.
Okay, balut. If you've ever heard of Filipino food, a lot of times you're most likely going to hear balut because it's the most
taboo.
Taboo for sure. Because if you're unfamiliar with it, go ahead.
So it's a 18-day-old fertilized duck egg.
I'm going to chew on some of this fruit cake while you talk.
So that, and every night I was buying, in the Philippines, it was like 3 for $1. Here, if you buy it, you're going to spend like $2 for one. But anyways, I was buying 3 a night, every night. Those are good. I mean,
so explain, it's an egg.
It's 18 days old, so the baby duck inside, is forming. So there's eyes, there's a beak, there's feathers, but it's just a little duck nugget, and it's soft. So everything's soft. If you don't look at it, you wouldn't even know you had it in your mouth.
It's freaky.
It's so soft.
It's so freaky though.
But it's good. It tastes like a really hearty chicken broth.
Yeah.
And then the egg yolk inside of there is tasty, but you can't eat the white part. The white part's hard like rubber. So we'd always just throw that away.
I mean, I remember my first time eating it. I've seen it many times, but my first time eating it, my mom always taught me, you kind of crack a little hole and you drink the juice. It's almost like he said, like a chicken noodle soup type inside. Super flavorful though. It is so good. Then you peel back the shell, you start picking at it, and I'm kind of picking at it, eating the egg, and the egg actually is so good. It's way better than the normal eggs you eat. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's because it's duck or I don't know why, but it is way better. It's so good. And you're peeling pieces, and all of a sudden you see something look kind of weird, and you look at it, and you kind of turn your head, and you kind of see it, and you realize, oh, that is the head with the eyeball and beak and a little bit of feathers of a baby duck. Mm-hmm. So I know in America people are gonna think how barbarian it is, but you know what? That's just how it is back there in the Philippines. They don't waste, and it's a third world country, and it's pretty good though.
Actually,
it's freaky.
Throughout the whole Asian culture, almost every country in Asia eats it, similar to the way they eat in the Philippines. But they don't have there isn't a name for it. Balut is just recognized worldwide now, especially in English. If someone says balut, they know exactly what you're saying. But if someone says it in Vietnamese, no one would have a clue what you're saying. It's
funny because anytime I meet someone that maybe served a mission for their church in the Philippines, or they went on vacation, and when I find out I'm Filipino, they always say balut, right? It's always the first thing. Same with you? That happen a lot?
Not anymore. Used to.
Every time I meet someone for the first time and they find out, that's the first thing gets brought up. So it's pretty fun. What are some other good ones? Fish balls.
The fish balls.
That's basically breaded fried fish.
Yeah,
stick balls.
Fish.
Pretty good.
All.
And then you get a little plastic bag with sauce and you dip it in there, or there's containers. You just dip it in and walk off with it.
Yeah, you buy like 3 of them. There's all the different sauces. You just dip the whole thing in the sauce, pull it out, put it on your little plate, and walk away.
Walk off and. It's good. Anything else kind of come to your mind? Street foods.
A lot of alcohol.
San Miguel beer.
And brandy, wine. Brandy. E&J. A lot of E&J.
E&J. So it's fun. So let's talk about other traditions they've got. I'm trying to remember here. I don't even know. Do they have Santa Claus? I think they do Santa Claus. Yeah. And I mean, they adopt a lot of our Western American culture. They totally do. I mean, they look up to us. The Filipinos look up to the Americans, and they really like our music, our movies, our food, a lot of the things that we do. So if you go down there, you can find a lot of restaurants that you're familiar with, like KFC and McDonald's.
Yeah, just like every other country, it's a little different.
A little different because instead of mashed potatoes and gravy, rice and gravy. All right, rice and ketchup, rice and gravy. I think their gravy was different too, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
I think it was, but then you have the fried chicken. But There's another place there that we went to that's really good. It's called Max's Chicken House.
Oh yeah.
And that place is so good. I really liked that food. Like their chicken, I thought was really good.
Sarap to the bone.
Sarap to the bone, which means delicious. And karaoke, videoke's big over there around the time. And when families gather together, they want to sing. So they do that. They sing. They have food. They're drinking. One of my favorite drinks is mango juice or calamansi juice. Calamansi is a little fruit. I like the
Citrus.
It's a little citrus.
It's a lime.
It's like
It's
a
Filipino
hybrid.
lime.
It's a hybrid of like a tangerine and lime because it's not as sour. It has a little bit of sweetness.
Like a tangerine and a key lime.
Yeah, kind of married.
And had a baby.
Had a baby calamansi.
Yeah.
But I love mango juice or calamansi juice with vodka. That's one of my favorite drinks. I love that. Do you have a favorite? Like
I
top
thought
three
I
of the mix,
invented
or?
calamansi juice with vodka.
No, but
It just sounded good, and I was a teenager, and I'm like, you know what sounds really good? I thought I invented it.
But that's fun. So let's talk about our trip down there. This was our first trip together as adults.
So much boomba.
So there was a lot of boomba that our uncles enjoyed taking us to. So that's slang for basically strip clubs when we say that. Boomba
Nudity.
is nudity, and they took us to a lot of strip clubs. And like basically when we got off the plane, right? I remember I'm sitting there and I'm falling asleep. I'm so jet lagged. It's an 18-hour flight from LA. It's an 18-hour flight. So I was jet lagged. I'm falling asleep. But we went down there. So where you fly in is obviously Manila, and it is culture shock.
It's a shit show on the freeways.
What freeway? I mean, there's lights. They don't pay attention. There's lines in the road. Don't mind them. You know what you got? You got your horn. Beep, 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 beep. That's all they use.
And then just go.
And they just go and they just ease their way in and out. And if there's a stop sign, who cares? They're going. And I don't know. I remember when we flew in, we landed for the first time. It had a smell.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Manila
Yeah.
stinks.
Yeah, it kind of stinks. People pee on the side of the road, no problem. It's just, It's culture again. You gotta go. So you always see a random man facing the wall,
peeing
on it. It's just how it is. And you see people with
surgical masks
to prevent themselves from the pollution because motorcycles and buses and it's overpopulated. Here's the one thing that shocked me about Manila. You could be traveling on one block. And on that block, it's a gated community and beautiful homes and beautiful, well-maintained yards. And one block over is poverty. You've got dogs running. You got kids half naked. You got people in the street with a little tub and a little bucket called a tabo. And they just pour it over their head, and that's their shower. And that's the next block over. And then the next block over again, it's like a middle class. Did you notice that?
Yeah, but
very awkward.
The high-end neighborhoods were completely gated with like barbed wire, and there were armed guards walking the perimeter of it.
And the malls have armed guards.
Yeah, you got to get checked going into the malls because they've had a lot of terrorist things happen there.
There's a lot of guerrilla influence.
And we went there before 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And it was already like that. Because we went the year of 2000 turning to 2001.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we went for that whole holiday season.
Yeah, so it was basically almost a year before. Because we went November, December, January.
Yeah.
And armed guards. But the malls there are huge. Like the length of 3 football fields.
Yeah, and they're 7 stories high. It's insane.
We were huge. And we got there, and I'm like, so it's funny stories.
Movie stars there.
I mean, people, they can tell we're half American. And, we look different than everybody.
We're easy on the eyes.
We're very handsome gentlemen.
Very
I'm just
easy
kidding.
on the eyes.
But, so I decided, you know what? I only brought tennis shoes. I need flip-flops. So we're with our cousin, Arnell. And we go to a mall, and we're going to one of the shoe stores. And I'm like, I need flip-flops. And they say, what size are you? So it's kind of weird how they do it. So you go look, you have the shoes on display, but they're just on display. There's no like, you can't go try them on right there. You basically tell them what model you like basically what style you like. Tell them your size. They pull down this microphone, call someone in the back, and someone runs out from the back with the shoes, and you try it on. And I'm like, I'm looking for some flip-flops. They go, what size are you? Well, I'm a size 13 shoe. And she says something in Tagalog. And I'm like, what's she saying about me? And my cousin says, she says you're a monster. So again,
you should see the size 13 monster I'm about to show you.
So then I decided, I'm gonna get me some. At the time, I was really into Polo brand of polos. Okay, and they had Polo brand polo because they make them in Indonesia and the Philippines. They make them right there, and they had them for like $5 each, I think, is what the equivalent was.
But the sizes don't match.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm a size XL. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. The biggest size they had was 3X, and it still didn't fit me. Like my chest, my arms, and it was like short.
They use for a 3X, they would use a regular XL size shirt, but with a size small neckline.
Yeah, it was like tight on my chest,
tight
on my shoulders.
You can't even get your head through the damn thing.
Yeah, that was a 3X, so that was pretty funny. But so Manila's a different world, and it's like I said, it's from block to block, it changes from almost like, yeah, you're in a wealthy area. Then, oh yeah, don't forget you're in a third world country. And but Manila was beautiful. It's fun. There's a lot of things. So a lot of tourists like going there from Japan, Korea, Hawaii, America. A lot of people go there because it's nice and it's really cheap. Everything there.
I prefer
really
the
cheap.
province over Manila.
In Manila, you got the crazy traffic, you got the crazy people. There's a lot more fun things to do, especially when you're used to us like the city life, But you go out to the province, and it's country jungle. It's totally different. So it's about 2 or 4 hour drive to where our mom grew up.
4 hours.
4 hour drive. We took this van, and our uncle drove. So about 4 hour drive out to Zambales. So Palawig. So if you guys want to know, Zambales is also where Olongapo is.
Subic Bay.
So those are where Zambales is, and our family's from there. And it's again a little bit of a culture shock because you see that poverty. I guess it is what it is. And like you were mentioning earlier, they don't have a lot of running water. They don't have a lot of electricity running through. I mean, they turn off at night the water. You know what I mean? Like, if you need to go to the bathroom, you just flush it in the morning, or go dig a hole outside.
Like us, we got there and we were going to the bathroom constantly.
So they tell you, don't drink the water. But for whatever reason, we're not smart enough to realize, guess what ice is made out of? The water. So
no, the first thing we get when we get there is halo.
Yeah,
shaved ice.
And,
full of water.
And all the beer that we're talking about, San Miguel, that's all room temperature. I mean, it's so hot, it's so humid. Everything's room temperature, so you have to get ice. So you basically give you a glass with a huge thing of ice in it.
Put your beer on it.
Put your beer on it to cool it down, and guess what? It's the water.
Water.
So yeah, we gotta go to the bathroom a lot. It gets to us. It gets to our stomach. So
you had it worse than I did.
I did.
I actually don't think I even started having problems till it was almost time for me to go home. So I stayed out there for a month and a half.
You were there for a month and a half. I was there for a month. You were there a month and a half. I got it a week in. I started getting it, and it was rough. It was a little rough because I was constantly bubbles in my stomach. It was a little rough. So we get to see we saw family we haven't seen in a long time, basically our whole life, really. I mean I was an infant when I went to the Philippines before this.
I had never gone before. This is my first.
So I don't know anybody. We just know the stories, and but it was really cool though, to see where our mom grew up, and our uncles and aunts and our grandparents, and we got to see the mausoleum that they were buried in. Our grandma, it was definitely humbling. Definitely humbling to see what people live through in those type of countries, impoverished. And I strongly encourage people that have kids to take them to these places, Mexico, Philippines, these places that are, less fortunate than us, and they get to see and realize how good they've got it. I mean, our daughters have smartphones with unlimited Wi-Fi in the house. and internet, high speed internet, and Netflix where you can stream, and YouTube, anything you want to watch and learn, at our fingertips. And over there, it's not as rampant. So, pretty fun, pretty interesting. But obviously the food was easy for us to accommodate because we were used to it. We've been eating the food our whole life, so nothing was weird to us there.
I gained like 25 pounds.
Did you? I don't remember. No, I lost because I was going to the bathroom so much. I was losing weight.
I'm gonna say
that's the secret.
This was my senior year when I went there.
Okay.
And I was like 160, 165 when I went out there.
Oh, those fish balls you were eating.
Unbalut.
Yeah.
I came back at like 185.
The fish don't have balls.
Or do they?
and we had a good time because a lot of our family from California went out there too.
Yeah, all our cousins from.
And that made it even more fun. Aunts and uncles and
we found out our family, no matter how much money they have, all like to party just like we do.
Yes, they like to get down. There was a couple. Was it a wedding there the first time, or was it just baptism?
No, it was a wedding.
We did baptism. We did godfather to our cousin. There was a wedding there, and I mean, it goes from nighttime. From the daytime, they start building. Basically, it's outdoors. All the parties are done outdoors. They start building with bamboo and banana leaves, basically gazebo tent thing, I guess you could say.
A huge event center to hold everybody for the wedding.
So they're tying bamboo together, putting banana leaves over the top, and the music starts, and they got these huge speakers, and it goes...
For 3 days.
It doesn't stop. Like, I was tired. I'm like, I want to sleep now. And you're up late, you're having a good time, but then the chickens are going, waking you up.
Every night, we would go hard every night.
And drunk uncles being loud.
Because they I don't know how, they drink all night long, drunk as shit, and then they wake up the next day, and they're drinking brandy for breakfast.
Yeah.
And like, we're just barely getting up, and they're like already 2 bottles deep. Crazy.
I can't do that. I'm getting old, but they're older. Fruitcake's pretty good.
Yeah, we almost
candied
killed
pineapples, candied cherries, pecans. What else? I'm trying to think what else here. What else? All right, so let's talk about Christmas. So a little different. We're here in Utah. We're used to cold, white Christmas. Over there, we're in shorts and tank tops and flip flops. It's 100 degrees easy on Christmas Eve.
Oh. That night in the plaza.
Well, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Christmas Eve night in the plaza.
But we didn't start there. Maybe just start where we started off, then we ended in the plaza.
Okay, you gotta remind me because I don't remember.
All right. Obviously, we have dinner first with the family. Tons of food. We're talking lechon, all right? That's the roasted pig on the spit. Oh, that reminds me. Guess how I woke up that morning? A pig getting a bamboo shoot stuck up its throat and draining his blood out. Squealing. That's how I woke up in that morning.
No, that wasn't that day. That was for birthday party.
Was it? Anyway.
That wasn't Christmas.
I've heard it. And that is the worst sound I've probably ever heard.
It lasts for a long time.
That pig takes forever to die. I'm like, just kill. Oh my gosh. They cook with the blood, okay, guys? They cook with the blood. They take that pig, gut it out, and put it on a spit and roast it over a fire pit. It's delicious. The skin is crispy. The meat is so juicy and soft. It's so good. So we've got lechon. We've got lumpia. That's a Filipino egg roll. The best egg roll, by the way, in my opinion. What else do we got? Babinka. That's a sticky rice dessert. Remind me what else.
I don't remember Christmas Eve at all.
But typical stuff, obviously chicken adobo. That's probably the most popular dish. Pancit. That's our noodle dish. Again, our most popular dishes. So those are just more of our more popular. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff there. And we're eating it. It's good. And then we decide, let's take this shindig down to the beach. You remember this now?
That was New Year's. Because that's when we had all the fireworks.
No, and it was Christmas. 'Cause I remember saying fireworks on Christmas. Weird. So
no, we didn't do fireworks on Christmas. We did fireworks on New Year's.
And Christmas. Because I remember it. Because I remember saying, this is weird. This is a weird Christmas for me. So we go down to the beach, and we throw a bonfire. So we got a bonfire going in the beach. And I don't remember if it was really big or not. I don't remember if it was like a blazing big bonfire. But we end up in the water now. Now we're in the water, and we're swimming at night. And from our house, from our mom actually later on built our grandparents' house where she grew up. She actually rebuilt it. But we're staying with our aunts and uncles and our cousins again. They built houses around. It's like a mile, right? Maybe a mile to the beach from the houses. Really close. So we just flagged down people with tricycles. So these are motorcycles with little sidecars attached. Not what you're thinking though. These are sidecars that have like a roof because they fit maybe 20 people on these things. So like there's a driver,
like 2 people in that sidecar comfortably.
Yeah,
but they end up with like
10
7
people
to a dozen.
easy. So you got the driver, and then you got 2 people sitting behind him, and then one is sitting on top of the sidecar, and you got like 4 or 5 people inside sitting on laps, and people hanging on the side. And we just flag a couple people down. They're constantly going down the roads. Everywhere in the Philippines, they have these tricycles and these jeepneys. So jeepney...
Before Uber.
Yes, this is maybe the start of it. Jeepney, obviously, they look like Jeeps. They got the idea from the military, right? Because U.S. Went to go help the Philippine military fight when Japan invaded. And so they got the idea from the Jeep style look. But they're basically...
colorful.
They're super elaborate. They put lights on them, colorful paint, and it's just a driver. And in the back, it's almost like a half bus. It's
just hollowed out.
It's hollowed out, and people sit on
the
both sides, and you basically face the other person. And that's transportation. That's unless you have a car, that's your transportation. And we just took it down to the beach, and we were swimming and playing with jellyfish and having a fire and on the sand. And we've been drinking, and we're going back into town. And so I might be mixing up our Christmas and New Year's, but it's okay. It happened both days anyway.
Either way, it was all one big blur of a vacation.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's a week apart. So we're pretty drunk.
Every day.
We're pretty drunk. And for some reason, I find this cart. Okay, let me explain what this cart is mainly used for.
This was New Year's.
And that's okay. It all blended together. So I find this cart, and it's attached. It's supposed to be attached to a caribou. Okay.
Caribou's almost like an elk.
Oh yeah. So caribou is a water buffalo. And they attach it there, and they pull, and there's the farmers in the back and doing their thing. Well, I don't know how I do this, but like 10 people jump in the back, and I pick it up, and I'm walking along, and we're singing Sex Bomb by, what's his name?
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones, and Christmas songs. So we're singing Christmas songs and Sex Bomb because for whatever reason, that song was everywhere in the Philippines.
That was a huge hit. That and anything by Bon Jovi.
Yes. Stairway to Heaven, all that stuff.
Bed of Roses.
Bed of Roses, yes. And so we're drunk. We're walking down the street, and people are watching us, and we get to the plaza. We sat at someone's house first. I think we got more people, and we did fireworks. And we picked up more people, got fireworks, and then we headed to the plaza. So what can you tell about the plaza?
I just remember being there, and we're all sitting around, and one of... he's an uncle, but he's not blood related to us. Our grandma adopted him and raised him. Anyways, he became a millionaire.
Robert?
Bob. He came over to the plaza, and he was just handing out $10 bills to all the kids. I remember that.
Well, it started off as he was going to tip the band. There was a live band playing.
And then some little kid asked for money or something.
Yeah, so a live band was performing in the plaza. So people had been there earlier. We weren't there earlier, but people were there earlier, and they were eating and things like that. We arrived drunk later. And they were having basketball tournaments too, I believe.
Basketball tournament, yes.
And he went to go tip the live band. Some kid asked for money, and then all of a sudden all the kids ran to him asking for money. And then
I remember one of our other uncles who had passed away since then. He hands me his revolver.
What?
He's drunk as
Who's
shit.
Who's this?
Uncle Mbong.
Oh my god.
I'm drunk as shit. He's drunk as shit. He hands me this big old revolver, like giant. I mean, this thing's massive. Tells me to hold on to it in broken English. And I'm like, I stick it in my pants, and it's just like hanging out of my leg and coming all the way up to my belly button. And I can't even sit down with it.
You're gonna shoot your dick off.
I was gonna shoot my dick off. But that's what I remember. And I remember after everything the next day going, why the hell do I have a gun?
That's funny.
And then I remember waking up Christmas morning.
Christmas morning.
Hungover. little kids jumping on us.
And we're wearing like wife beaters and swimming suits, boarding shorts.
And our mom throws Santa hats
on us
and tells us to hand all these presents out to all the neighborhood kids and all our little cousins and everything.
And we're sitting on the porch.
With hungover, handing out gifts to kids.
Yeah.
It was...
And there's pictures of us and we look hungover.
Yeah, we look like we're in bad shape. But oh boy, do we look good though.
And yeah, they're jumping on us and we're handing out presents. And I don't remember what we said.
Can you believe that that's almost been 20 years ago?
Yeah, 18 years now, right now. 18 years now.
Yep.
That is crazy. Yeah, I didn't think about that. So that's our Philippines Christmas experience. And it was fun. We had a good time. Good times were had by all.
So let's talk about the strip clubs.
There was a lot of them. And we got taken to a lot of them. The fact the uncle that gave you the revolvers one that took us to a lot of them, along with another uncle.
He only took us to like a couple of them.
Well, we were there in Olongapo. That's what took us. And there was.
I remember I stood up a stripper. Because we were supposed to meet at the beach the next day, and I completely stood her up. But Uncle Embong went for me. He said she was there waiting for me.
That's hilarious. So Christmas time, the food is so good, and a lot of the Filipinos around Christmas time here in the States, they still do it the same way. They still go to strip clubs. No, I'm just kidding. No, they go.
Just like
they got the food. It's the same food, right? It's kare-kare, lumpia, pancit, adobo.
Oh, you know what? I was thinking. I think Uber was invented by a Filipino.
No.
When they said, "Hey, I want to go Uber there," and they called the jeepney. "Hey, I want to go over there."
That's racist, and I'm offended.
I hope so. I hope you would be.
But anything else you remember from our trip, or just Filipino Christmas culture?
From our trip, what else?
And I know we'll probably get blasted. Like, you forgot about this. This is actually last minute.
Yeah, I didn't know that these topics were gonna happen till just now, so I wasn't ready.
Me either. I just made it up right now.
I like it.
I thought it'd be fun. But anyway, this fruitcake's really good. I've been snacking on it. It's good.
I know we're out of eggnog now.
We are. I got one more sip here. I'm getting a refill. Liquor store's open now, so.
Oh, you just need more nog. I got more liquor.
All right. Well, you guys, I just want to say this year for me personally has been a fun ride. A lot of new ventures that I've started. Obviously, this podcast and my YouTube channel is one of them. And I want to thank you guys for listening. And for me, the best present I can get is someone telling me that they've enjoyed the podcast or they've learned from the podcast, whether it was one of my guests has said something that inspired you, whether me or my brother or my wife has said something to inspire you.
Boom,
or maybe you've had a stressful week and this kind of gets you out of that funk a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of interviewing. And I hope you guys enjoy my podcast, and I thank you guys for listening. And if you could please, the next best gift you can give me is a subscription and maybe even a rating to the show. And I want to thank the people recently who've reached out to me and told me they've been listening. Vanessa Martinez, we gave a shout out to her one time on one of our podcasts about her weddings. I know she's been listening. My friend Jacob Gorange, he was actually one of my guests on one of my episodes. He said he went and caught up on a lot of them and he's really enjoyed it. I ran into my friend Dan Sala at the gym. He says, he delivers for FedEx and this is a busy time of year for him. So I want to thank, because I'm a big Amazon fan, I want to thank all the UPS and FedEx drivers out there that keep hustling so I can get my gifts so I don't have to go to the stores. But he said he's been listening while he's on the road. Thank you so much for listening. And a lot of people maybe I haven't got to send me a shout out. I'll make sure to give you guys a shout out on my podcast. I'm looking forward to 2019. I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys have big goals. I want you guys to set really, really big goals. And there's a saying that I kind of thought was cliche when I first heard it, but now I really believe it. And it was like, set goals to the moon, because even if you miss it, you'll hit the stars. And it didn't really hit me. I kind of was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. But it kind of made more sense as I've matured. And it makes sense. I want to encourage everyone to set really, really high goals for yourself in 2019. January, New Year's Eve, New Year's, people set those resolutions, but they forget about it right away. I want to encourage you guys to write it down. Don't forget about your goals. All year round, focus on hitting your goals. I believe in you guys. I thank you guys for listening. I love you guys for listening to my podcast. Me and Dale have a podcast called Buco Boys. Whatever you're listening to the DVO show on right now, you can also find Buco Boys. You know, my brother, I'm trying to help him establish himself as an entrepreneur. He's become self-employed, and this is a fun little thing that we've been doing together. I hope you guys are enjoying that show too. Thank you guys once again. I'm most humbled. Have a happy Merry Christmas. I'm not politically correct. I say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Go win for yourself and your family.
Maligayong Pasko.